Hey, how's it going? Hux here. Today I want to talk about the 106 rework that they're going to be doing. I wanted to record this video yesterday, however I couldn't lest there be background noise. So we're doing it today. I've already read through all of it, and from the most part, it's pretty good. I like it. So I'm just going to give my thoughts on it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically, in the introduction, they're making it so the items that when you die in 106's pocket dimension, the items that spawn or that come off you have a chance to spawn back in the facility, and the chance increases for the higher rarity the item is. So the example they give is micro HID. That will be most likely going to spawn again in the micro HID room, whilst items like medkits have a smaller chance of respawning. I don't really like this change. I think it should be the other way around. I think items like medkits should have a higher chance, like medkits, the sergeant card in 096's room, stuff like that should have a higher chance of respawning. Like inside those little cabinets or the armory things, just anywhere that's already been taken out. With a huge gameplay changing item like the micro, that should not spawn back in the facility. If you lose that, you lose that. Like, it's a huge detriment. You shouldn't just have this one guy make a mistake. Oh, it'll spawn back in the facility. No, it should not be like that, in my opinion. I think it should be the other way around. But we'll have to see that they don't say like the chances on it. If it's like maybe like a 30% chance, then yeah, sure, maybe. But if it's like a 100% chance, like 90, I don't. They need to reverse it. So the 106 actual rework, not the box mentioned. So no longer will he be considered the tank of the group, and yes, that's what 106 is. It's not 096. 106 will no longer be the tank of the group. His bullet penetration is removed, and his health will now be 2,000 by default. And you'll have an overshield. Lots of people like to dog on Northwood for giving SCPs a like overshield. I think it's completely fine. I think it starts to be a problem when you have like peanut level regeneration overshield. I think that's when it gets like too much of a problem. Like, I think the most an SCP should have of overshield is like 600, like the dog right now, for instance. I think it becomes way too much when you have 1,500 overshield as Peanut. Now, for Peanut, I feel like it's an exception, but I still feel like it should be lower to like maybe 1,000, and then give Peanut 500 extra health. But 250, I feel like is completely fine. I just feel like the insane numbers past 600 is too much. Well, thankfully they haven't done that yet. So, but he now has a little vigor mechanic that will work like a stamina bar. He has two abilities, which are called Stock and Hunter's Atlas. And basically both of the abilities, you know, cost vigor, which is what the thing is called. So Stock is basically going to be used as a stealth mechanic. In the videos that they showed, it didn't make any noise of him climbing out of the pocket dimension. From what I've noticed, it makes noise now when you come out of the pocket dimension. I think they're removing that, so I think Stock will be like a stealth mechanic, which is really good. I think it'll be a really good thing for 106. It'll make players more aware. Because right now he's just the big dong 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 dong, the slow tanky guy. when he shouldn't be that. I feel like he should be, I don't know, a somewhat healthy stealth guy, which is what they're making him, and I like that. I like that change a lot. He'll be invulnerable, and he's at an increased movement speed, which is good. It'll force him out of of the stock mechanic, and it costs more over time. So the traumatized mechanic, I was trying to figure out where it was. The traumatized mechanic is a really cool idea on paper, right? So I get at wanting to add a debuff to humans. And by the way, I feel like to even further reduce camping, I think I said this in one of my other videos, because SCPs, the best strat still is probably still to camp, have 2 SCPs at one checkpoint, have 2 SCPs at another. It's going to be hard, but that's still going to be the best strategy if you want to try hard. I feel like that will no longer be a good strat if you have something like this, like for 049, for example, where 049 does a one-shot, but it has like a 150 damage, you know, over time, like takes 10 seconds to kill you. That way you have to use a med kit to survive. I think that would be a cool idea, and that will help reduce camping. And it's like a debuff. And why I said that is because this is also like a debuff. However, it's not a very good debuff. So basically, when 106 attacks a human, they get the traumatized debuff, right? And the traumatized debuff is basically if you get out of the pocket dimension and he goes into a stock mode, he can see you from further away. Like if you're at the end of a very long hallway, he can see you if you're traumatized, no matter what. And then if you're damaged, depending on how damaged you are, he can also see you that far away. I think the damage tying in with the traumatized mechanic is good, and then the traumatized being permanent, like, not permanent for last 4 minutes, for like the distance being permanent until it runs out. I think that's completely cool. However, they need to buff the debuff, because it's like a 1 in 8 chance for you to escape the pocket dimension. How many people escape the pocket dimension on a game-to-game basis? For me, maybe like 5 or 6 at the most. I feel like they need to buff this traumatized mechanic to where if you're in your stalking mode, and it'll still last for 4 minutes. I think the 4 minutes lasting is fine. But if you're in your stalking mode, I feel like if you're traumatized, he can see you, like he can see your outline through walls. I feel like that would be like a really, really good addition to the stock mechanic. And it'll actually be like a detection thing, which would be really cool. I can't tell you how many times that there's 106 catches the last guy and he escapes, and now we have no idea where he is. This will be really, really useful. Like if you're on one side of heavy and then you tag someone and then they go out into like checkpoint or whatever and they go into entrance, you go into your stalking mode, you can see them, it would be such a good idea. But sadly, that's not what they're doing, and I don't really think the traumatized mechanic would be good unless they do the change that I just said. Hunter's Atlas. So basically, this is going to be the old portal mechanic. Basically, the more vigor you have, the more you can teleport away. With max vigor, you can teleport 5 rooms away, as they say here. Maximum 5 room radius. That will be his getaway ability. It will not be his stock ability. That is not his getaway ability. His getaway ability is the Hunter's Atlas. In the example that they used here, in this video where they used it to like flank someone, aware players will always keep track of where the 106 is. For good players. New players, this will work on 10 out of 10 times. But for players like me, for example, who have over 1,000 hours, aware players will always keep track of where 106 is. So the Hunter's Atlas won't really be useful to cut us off if we're paying attention. Hunter's Atlas will be the getaway ability, where basically your NTF spawn, they're coming down the elevator, you get like 5 or 6 NTF, and sorry, sometimes my bar goes red, so I have to like calm down. So my mic doesn't peak. NTF spawns, they come down gate B. You get a couple of them. You use Hunter's Atlas to get away. You use the stalking mechanic as both a stealth and a catch-up mechanic. So basically, for the stalking mechanic, I gave it a little bit of thought. You have to teleport, like, forward of where they're going. So, like, if they're running down a hallway, you have to come out at the end of the hallway. Or, like, something like that, you know? By the way, another little side note, I think they should make you coming out of the hole in the ground a little bit faster. I think that would just make the stalking mechanic more useful in chase. Because otherwise, it's just, like... But, I feel like the Hunter's Atlas will be the getaway ability, and the stalking ability would be mainly used as a stealth ability. Sometimes it could be useful, like on surface, for example. If they're running to gate A from gate B, you use your stalk mechanic to catch up and force them back. That'll be mainly what it's used for. But I like these two ability changes. They're really good in my opinion. The femur breaker removal is interesting. I like it because sometimes there's those games where it's at the end, no one really has a card, and they can't really kill one, or they can't really recontain 106, so they have to kill them. I feel like that's a kind of a sucky thing to do, and it's also sucky when you're playing 106 and you just get recontained in like 3 minutes. There's no counterplay on your part, nothing. It's completely RNG, as they say. So I 100% agree with the femur breaker removal, especially since they're taking out the bullet resistance for 106 and like decreasing or like increasing itself. I feel like he'll be way easier to kill, but he'll still be hard to kill. He'll still be hard, but not like hard, you know? But I really like the change that they're making here for 106. And then a little salt that they give us is a rough draft for the entrance checkpoint. I really like it. I don't really know what this door will do, because there's entrance and you have to go through this door that doesn't require a key card, and then into the checkpoint, which does require a key card. So I don't really know what the purpose of this is, but yeah, I like what they're doing. They're making a room inside of here, and as it shows in the video, there'll be like a little gun place here. I really like how it looks. I don't know how yet it'll side with humans, as they say, but again, it's a rough draft. I would have to like actually be there and test it out in a 1v1 scenario, because that's how I test things mostly, to see how useful it'll be. But other than that, I like it. Looks good from what I've been used to for such a long time. But yep, that's it. I just wanted to talk about the 106 and the entrance checkpoint changes. Overall, it's gonna be a buff to him. People are saying it's a nerf. I don't know how people are seeing it as a nerf. He's not meant, or he's meant to be the tank, but he's super slow. So if anything, this is like a complete new SCP in my opinion. Like, this is even, it's 106, but this is nothing like the 106 we've been playing with. But I think it's a really good change. If they keep making changes like this, like the computer change that they did, was so nice. I loved it for the most part, with a couple nitpicks. And I practically agree with almost everything, again, except for the respawning items. If they keep making changes like this, I will enjoy SCP again. I do enjoy SCP, but it's because of the social aspect. Gameplay aspect, I think it's a little boring right now. Not because I'm drained out, but just because everything's just boring to me. If they do changes like this, where they make the game interesting, and I actually have to think more, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like my favorite multiplayer game. But yeah, that's it. That's all I want to talk about. Thank you.